Welcome everybody and welcome all of you to the taxation course of CMA Inter. Whether you are taking CMA Inter Direct Tax of old syllabus 2016 or you are taking taxation of syllabus 2022. Direct tax lectures will be totally same for all of you. Some one or two extra chapters like assessment procedures are there, ICDS is there for old syllabus and self-assessment is there for new syllabus. But other than that, direct tax is totally same. Even a single numerical problem the institute did not change. Second thing, for new syllabus, GST also is there. So you will be getting complete video lectures, complete notes on the direct tax and indirect tax, both. Our ultimate goal that you have to become successful, and for that this course is there and you are at the right place. It is assured that you will definitely succeed, but for that you also have to follow certain steps. I am following so many things, so many changes I have brought. Now it's your duty too. It's not just that you have taken the course and it's over. You have to put in efforts, you have to study, and you have to write the exam. All that are there. But if you do it in the right way, then your success chances will increase. So from my side, you are taking player based classes on laptop or app based classes, your choice. But ultimately unlimited views I am giving to you, so that if certain topic you don't understand, you can listen it for 2 3 times, 4 times, 5 times. It's not 1.5 views or 1.2 views, so that I don't want to restrict you. It's unlimited views so that you learn till you understand. Okay, you listen to the topics till you understand. Now what is the right process? Now unlimited views are there, so you can enjoy. Books will be delivered to your address as and when you have taken the courses, right? Within a week you get it. But how to study? First part you have to do is you have to watch the video lectures chapter wise. Now this video lecture series, the special part is even December 2022 question paper I have included. Every amendment whatever has been brought by Finance Act has been underlined, so that when you want to check amendments, underlined content is amendment. Simple, right? If you want past exam question till 2022 December, everything is included in the lecture, so you are just going to enjoy the latest updated content which is fully ready for your June December 2023 exams. Now for you, assessment year 23-24 will apply. I'll talk about it in more detail in the introductory part when I talk. And now what should you do? First, listen to the video lecture. In the video lectures itself, when I will be solving the problems, along with me solve the problems. Now don't keep some rough notes and something like that. Proper books you maintain, because at least 2 notebooks you will need to completely solve all the problems. Okay, at least 2 notebooks based on the size, right? So video lectures, along with that you have to solve all the practical illustrations along with me. In that I will give you lot of inputs, how the questions will be twisted in the examination and how you should interpret it, understand it, so that you will be exam ready. Now if I solve all the problems and you along with me just write it down, will you be actually getting the confidence? Because ultimately you individually go to the exam hall to write the exam. So that's why what I did, that along with the notes which you have to read, I have given some homework problems. What, sir, am I going to school? If you feel like that, yes, you are again coming to school. Because if you don't solve some problems on your own, you will never get confidence. And I don't feel shy to keep the word homework for it. It's your homework, you have to do. Suppose you don't understand, you can always contact me on the number which is already given to you, or you can even refer to the solutions of the homework given in the app. So all that facilities are given to you. But ultimately what you should do, you should practice on your own the homework problems. Once this is done, it's not over. You have to practice the multiple choice questions either on the website or on the app, your choice. Now, देखो, if you really want to become successful, there is no shortcut to it. Please, there should be a proper process followed, then only proper output will come. So that's why MCQs you have to practice after that. These are all chapter wise what I said. Once this is done, now when 4-5 chapters are over, you will be writing a subjective test which our team will send to you. You have to write the answers on an answer script. Just take the screenshot of it, send it to us in PDF format. We will correct the answers and whatever you sent, and I will personally give you feedback ki where you are wrong, what corrections you need to do, why you did not do well, or what are the areas you can excel on. All that feedbacks I will give to you personally by sending voice messages. You just do the corrections, improve, and for your advantage, revision videos also will be available, chapter wise revision videos. There are 20 chapters in direct tax, 20 revision videos will be available to you. You have to listen to every revision video. Hey, if one chapter takes 10 hours, revision video will take 1.5 hours. So this way what happens, in just 10 to 15% of the time, you will be able to revise, and whole subject you will revise in 25 hours. This way what happens, your confidence will be boosted. From the teacher you learned the classes, right? From me everything you learned, now you revise with me. Once the revision is done, now it's the time to write mock test in final exam pattern. The subjective test which I will be conducting, that will be 50 marks papers, right? That will also be in exam pattern but will be short. But this mock test papers will be complete 100 marks, 3 hours time, right? 15 minutes reading time you have to take, 3 hours you have to write, and then again I will give feedback. If you follow these 6 steps with 100% sincerity, no doubt that you will definitely clear the exams with flying colors. Many students in the past got exemptions in direct taxes. Now it's your turn to get. But how will you get? Follow all these steps. There is no shortcut to success. If you want to become successful, you have to put in all the efforts. Right? Now, shall we start the introduction, basic concepts? So these are all the things which I thought I'll share with you before we start the complete lecture series. So let's start with the basic concepts. Now, Albert Edison said that income tax is the toughest thing to understand. Now you may say Edison feels that income tax is the toughest subject. But don't worry, you are in the safest hands, and I will make this subject easy for you to understand. Right? So let's start the journey. Before I actually teach you what is income tax, what is direct tax, what are the different types of taxes, everything we'll discuss. But let us understand first why actually we need taxes. Right? And now you tell me, from when the taxes has come? From Egyptian times. Greeks have launched the taxation. We feel, and the literature what is available in India, they also write like that only. But in India, taxes were from very old times. See Chanakya's quotes. Chanakya says the government, state should compulsorily collect taxes. If required, use Sama Danda Bhed to collect the taxes. The state should be rich. Why he is saying state should be rich? Why state should be rich? You tell me. Suppose example, if our government of India is rich, financially very strong, then we can equip lot of arms, ammunitions and protect our country, right? Now, as an individual, can I protect the country? No. That protecting the country, protecting the people is the government's work. And for that, government needs lot of money. If suppose I have to establish roads, can I do on my own? No. For my household needs, ration and all I can bring to my home by my income. But the roads, bridges, dams, infrastructure development, all that I cannot do. For that, government is there. And to government, we should pay taxes. And if we don't pay taxes, government has to harshly, forcefully also collect taxes so that government can meet the needs and take care of the welfare of the people. That's the purpose behind the taxes. And that's why Chanakya says it is very strong that you have to collect taxes. If suppose a country is there where rich people don't pay taxes, that country never prospers. That country cannot grow. That's what Chanakya said. And even in Ramarajya time, I'll tell you that taxes were there. But in Ramarajya, people were to pay voluntarily to the king. And Ram was to help the people, contribute to the happiness, to the welfare, to the wisdom, to the wealth of the people. And this way, it was a free flow of money from public to government and government to public, and that's what actually development is. And that's why taxes are needed. In COVID times also, you remember that how much difficult it was for everybody. Their government supplied free ration to the public, free vaccination to 100 crores population, right? More than 200 crore doses are given. How all these things happened? It's all because of taxes. The modern philosophers, the ideologists and great people like Jim Rohns also says that taxes are very important, vital for the nation. They say that teach little Johnny, that means teach small kids that they have to pay taxes. If suppose they don't want to run their cycles in a mud, they want to run the cycles on a proper roads, then whatever candy they purchase, along with the price of the candy, they should pay small amount, 3 pennies of taxes. That's what Jim Rohn said. And it is very important. If we feel that I want to escape tax, it is wrong. We have to pay taxes and we have to demand from the government the services what are needed for the common benefit of all the people. Now we understood what are taxes. What is the importance of tax? Now let us understand how many types of taxes. Let us go to the main notes. See, tax is a compulsory imposition by the government. So who impose? Government. What they impose? Compulsory monetary charge, right? On the people, on the organizations. Whether as a part of the income the people have to pay, or when people purchase the goods, a part of the price of the goods also can be in the form of taxes. So you will not only pay the price of the goods plus some amount of taxes you pay. Like you purchase a mobile phone, 10,000 rupees worth mobile phone, and 18% GST is there. So you don't pay 10,000 to the seller, you pay 11,800. 10,000 into 18% will be 1,800. Plus that price, plus tax 11,800. So as a part of the as an addition to the price of the goods or for the income earned, you pay taxes. Now out of this definition also, we got two different types of taxes. One is the direct tax and the second one is indirect tax. Now when you are learning with me, can you do one thing? You also be like a small kid, bacche ban jao yaar bas, and shout with me certain things. Like I said, there are two types of taxes. So I said direct tax and indirect tax. Now you can see the screen, right? Along with me, you also shout the thing. That actually help you to remember more. When all our senses are involved on certain thing, then there is no doubt that that will be stored. If you are lazily listening, कंबल ओढ़ के फोन बाजू को लगा के, if you are listening to the class, how much you will be able to remember? So have your pen and paper with you, right? Full focus, sit properly and listen. I know that you are going to rock the examinations with this focus, right? Chalo, let's understand. There are two types of taxes. What are they? Direct tax and indirect tax. There is something called as incidence and impact of taxes. If incidence and impact is on the same person, it is called as direct tax. If incidence and impact is on the same person, it is called as direct tax. If incidence is on one person and impact is on the other person, then it is called as indirect taxes. So if suppose incidence and impact on same person, direct tax. Incidence on one person, impact on another person, indirect taxes. Let me explain. When you go to a job, you earn a salary income, correct? When you earn a salary income, a part of the salary you pay to the government as taxes. Now, on whom the burden is, incidence is? On you, the income earner, correct? And who is going to be impacted because of it? Suppose you got some 1 lakh rupees salary per month and roughly you are paying 15,000. So how much you are left with? 85,000. Okay. So impact is on you only, right? So burden also and payment also, you only will do to the government. This is direct taxes. Whereas in indirect taxes, the burden is on the consumer and payment is done by the dealer, wholesaler, retailer, manufacturer, something like that. Okay? What happens? Like indirect tax, I'll give one example for you, like salary example I gave for income. So mobile phone example, let us again repeat for you to understand indirect tax. Now when you purchased a mobile phone, you paid 10,000 as a price and 1800 as GST. GST doesn't mean good night sweet dream take care. GST means goods and services tax. Okay, चलो थोड़ा सा मस्ती करते हुए पढ़ते हैं, right? You will actually enjoy it. Now, goods and services tax. Now, you pay 11,800 to the seller. So, on whom the burden is? The burden of taxes is on you, the ultimate consumer. But then, did you pay to government? You did not pay. You paid to the seller. Seller will pay that 1800 to the government. Right? Now who made the payment to government? Seller made. Now burden is on customer. Ultimate burden is on customer and payment to government done by seller. This is what indirect tax is. Now tell me, direct tax is simply a tax on income. That's why only one example, income tax. Whereas indirect tax is on the consumption of goods and services. Like when you purchase online courses also, we are giving you service. So along with the price, there is a GST component included. What does this mean? Price plus GST. So whether it is a good, that is mobile phone, or a service like coaching, like beauty parlor services, like saloon services, uh, like training services. So any type of services are there, software services, anything. What we have to remember, that on consumption of goods and services, indirect tax is imposed. I can simplify it that indirect tax is added to the price of the goods or services. Okay, very clear? Added to the price of goods and services. Now what are the examples of indirect tax? If you remember, you can tell. हाँ चीटिंग भी कर सकते हैं, देख के भी बोल सकते हैं, ठीक है. चलो लेट कंटिन्यू विथ इट. Indirect tax example GST, as I said till now. Okay, goods and services tax. I'll discuss about it in more detail when GST classes start. As of now, it is a tax which is added to the price of the product or service. Okay, when services are rendered in India, goods are sold in India. Suppose example, if you sell goods outside India, then what to do? If you are selling goods outside India, then what to do? Then there is something called as, this is something called as export, right? And on export mostly there is no taxes, but still if export also government levies some taxes. Certain goods are there on which even if you export, even if you sell outside India, it is taxed. Then we can say that it is customs duty. When you import goods into India, right, from foreign country, you bring some goods to India, buy some goods from outside India to India, then we can say on that import duty, that means customs duty will be levied. So customs duty is simply a tax on import and export of goods. Now why we call it as indirect tax? Because here also it is added to the price of the product. You pay to the seller, seller pays to the government. Sometimes what happens? Seller, the goods will be delivered only after you pay taxes to the government. So the arrangements may change, right? But the essence is the importer who is bringing goods into India or exporter who is in India has to pay taxes to the government. It is indirect tax. Now direct tax is progressive in nature. Progressive means what? Like I will tell you, there is a slab rate in direct tax. Like if your income is less than particular limit, like less than 2,50,000, government says, "Arey, you are having reasonably less income, so no need to pay tax." Nil. If your income is 2,50,000 to 5 lakhs rupees, government says, "Hey, you are earning something, right? So it is more than reasonable. So please pay some small tax." If somebody earns more than 5 lakhs, then extra tax. More than 10 lakhs, huge tax. 30% tax if your income is more than 10 lakhs. So this I'll teach at the end of the chapter. We'll solve lot of problems. In CMA book only 4-5 questions are there. I gave double 11-12 questions I have given. Dekho, I did not just cover what is there in your CMA study material. I covered your CMA study material, I covered scanner, I covered workbooks, I covered past exam questions, and I did not include every past exam question to burden you. But at least you should know independent variety questions from past exams, right? If suppose some question is same like the textbook, in the past exams. I ignored it. Okay, you practice this, you will be able to solve if some numbers change. But if some question is totally unique, then I have to include it, right? And I included it. Not only that, amendment based questions also I brought in the notes. So for that also you need not separately study something. Some questions which are really good from chartered accountancy course also, I added it here for your advantage. So all benefits. So just focus and keep in touch with me for any type of doubts so that I can really help you to the fullest. Now continue. What I said, direct tax is progressive. As your income increases, your tax also increases. If your income is less, tax also less. If your income is zero, no need to pay taxes. So it all depends upon your income. As you progress, so your taxes also progress. So government also progress with your contribution, right? This is progressive taxation. This is direct tax. Same way, we have to understand indirect taxes are regressive in nature. Like example, if weird joke, but ठीक है, to understand you can listen to this. Mukesh Ambani purchases 10,000 worth mobile. He also has to pay 1,800 tax. And suppose a poor person staying in a cottage or a very small house with very little income, with lot difficulty, he is purchasing the mobile, right? He also has to pay 1,800 tax. So what happens is indirect tax actually pinch the people more. It increases the price of the products again. It is inflationary in nature, right? It pinches more. It is inflationary nature. Because why it is inflation? Because somebody could have bought the mobile at 10,000, but because of taxes it became 11,800. So what is this? It is adding to your price, and when prices of goods increase, we call it as inflation. It is inflationary in nature. The best part of indirect tax is it pinches more, but the pinch is not felt. You simply pay the money, but you don't understand how much is price and how much is tax, because tax is included in the bill. Now you are going to become professional students, you will understand, but common man will not, right? So the pinch is not felt. Whereas direct tax, when you pay, you have to take the money from your pocket and then go to government and pay through online or whatever mode. Now the point is, when you are paying, you feel that what I am getting, nothing, and still I am paying tax. So direct tax actually pinches you more. Okay, right. So what we understood, I explained you the differences between direct tax and indirect tax, and I feel you are very clear with. But shall we revise super fast? Hey, incidence and impact is on same person in case of direct tax. Incidence and impact is on different persons in case of indirect tax. अरे आंसर बोलने के लिए ही तो थोड़ा टाइम दे रहा हूं. आई एम गिविंग यू टाइम, seconds of time, so that you also try to give answer on your own. The burden and payment is on the same person in case of direct tax. Burden is on the consumer and payment to government is done by dealer, wholesaler, manufacturer in case of indirect tax. Dash is inflationary in nature. Indirect taxes. Dash is not inflationary in nature. Direct taxes. Income tax is the example of direct tax. GST, customs duty is the examples of indirect tax. Dash is regressive in nature. Indirect tax. Dash is progressive in nature. Direct tax. This way, all the differences. Dash is a tax on consumption of goods and services. indirect tax. Dash is a tax on income. Income tax, direct tax. Clear? Super, right? Now let's try to understand something more. I'll show you an image of Bhagavad Gita and explain you something. Okay? Yeah. Why I am saying about Bhagavad Gita, I'll tell you. Simply, dekho, if you want to live a wonderful life, then you have to really follow Bhagavad Gita. There is no choice. If you want to be happy, you have to actually follow Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita is the constitution of human life. If a human being has to be really be successful from within, happy from within, then Bhagavad Gita is the only go. It is the constitution of human life. Mama vartmanu vartante iti manushyaha. That means somebody who follows Bhagavad Gita is the mankind, true mankind, in real spirit. And the whole world is now understanding this. That's what the special part. Now, same way, if you are a human being, you follow Bhagavad Gita. But if you are staying in a country, you have to follow certain set of guidelines. That guidelines are called as constitution. And in India, we have a wonderful constitution with lot of content, lot of knowledge and lot of guidelines. Let's understand one after the other. In our constitution, there are 12 schedules. How many schedules are there? 12 schedules are there. In our constitution, 22 parts are there. And in our constitution, 448 articles are there. 22 parts, 12 schedules and 448 articles. If we are staying in India, we have to follow the Constitution of India. It talks about liberty, it talks about equality, it talks about fairness. So many things it talks about. Now, but suppose example, tomorrow if Narendra Modi ji or KCR or any other state government chief minister or central government minister get us up and says that we want to levy tax and from today this tax is implemented, can they do so? Is it allowed? देखो, governments may come and go, but everything the government administration happens as per the constitution. So if any tax has to be imposed, it should be as per the authority of the constitution. Article 265 says that any tax law should be brought as per the authority of the constitution, otherwise such tax law is null and void. Such tax law is null and void. Now let's understand that any tax law, when GST was actually brought, I'll tell you the real story. Constitutional amendments were brought because there was no constitutional authority to actually bring a tax like GST. So that's why constitution was amended first, then GST was brought. Okay, so taxes, if you want to bring any tax law, it should be as per the constitution. That's what article 265 says. If it is against the constitution, not in line with constitution, it becomes void. Now you may say, how can it become void? People can go to the Supreme Court, challenge the tax law, and Supreme Court will strike down. That's how it happens. Okay, very good. Because many a times we get doubt, government only brings the tax law and how can it become void? Because Supreme Court is there, it is independent. Now let's understand that to bring the taxes also and for distribution of work between the central government and state government, there is an article 246 which talks about three lists. One is union list, second one is state list, and third one is concurrent list. Now I will repeat for you to understand in detail. Listen carefully. Central list, central government will make the laws in relation to items in the union list. State government will make the laws in relation to items in the state list. And third one is concurrent list items like forests are there, education is there. On that, central and state governments both can make the laws. Now let me explain to you Article 246. Article 246. देखो, first thing you have to understand that India has a dual government model. Dual government means what? There is a central government and there is a state government. Now sir, why they are two different governments? Only one government should be there, central government. Arey yaar, it is simply for distribution of work. That's it, nothing more than that. Okay, so for easy completion of work and distribution of work, state governments are formed. Okay, so dual government is there. Now for different works, state also needs money, and for some other works, central government also needs money. So tomorrow there should be no dispute between the state and center. For that, clear cut bifurcation of powers to collect taxes are given. Like example, in union list, on the income earned by the persons, government can levy tax, central government can levy tax. But on agricultural income, list 2 will apply. That means only state government can collect tax. So what I said, on all incomes except agricultural income, central government can levy tax. That's what list 1 union list is. On agricultural income, only state government can levy tax. Okay. Same way, like tax on import and export, customs duty, central government can only levy. Whereas entertainment tax, property tax can be levied by state government. Can be levied by state government in list 2. Third one is concurrent list, like forest and education are covered under concurrent list. Both the governments can take action on the items in the concurrent list. Presently, GST also, central and state government together are levying the taxes. And part of the tax, that is half the part, will go to central and balance half will go to the state government in GST. More we'll discuss in GST classes. Let's continue. So under Article 246, how many are there? 3 lists are there: union list, state list, and concurrent list. Now suppose if there is any dispute between central and state government, what will prevail? Who will prevail? If suppose tomorrow Mamata Banerjee wala Didi bolta hai and she is against Narendra Modi. So if there is a conflict between center and state, in Telangana there is KCR. He always talks negative about Narendra Modi ji. So there is a conflict always. If there is a conflict, then what will prevail? Central's version will prevail or state's version will prevail? The dispute should not arise. That's why Article 254, it is not written in the book, so I did not put it, but for knowledge I am sharing to you. Okay. Article 254 says that central government's law will prevail over the state government, and state government has to make such laws in line with the central government's law. In line with central government's law. Okay. This is what Article 254. So in Constitution, what we studied? We studied that there are 12 schedules, 22 parts, 448 articles. We studied that no tax can be levied except with the authority of law, Article 265. 246 talks about powers of state and central government to levy taxes, union list, state list, concurrent list. 254 says if there is any dispute between center and state, central's law will prevail. Correct? Now come to the next part, administration. Now obviously government of India is at the top. In that, under central government, there are many ministries, and one ministry is Ministry of Finance. Some people call finance, some people call finance. चलता यार, ठीक है? So Ministry of Finance. Under that, there is Department of Revenue. Now revenue means basically sales, turnover, right? Income we can say. So basically revenue means income. To whom? To the government. Okay. Whenever I say Department of Revenue, don't feel that हाँ मेरे को revenue नहीं, तुम्हारा तो tax है, right? You have to pay taxes. It is revenue to the government. And Department of Revenue has two wings. One is CBDT, Central Board of Direct Taxes. CBDT is Central Board of Direct Taxes, and basically Central Board of Direct Taxes takes care of income tax. Okay. And second one is CBIC, Central Board of Indirect Tax and Customs. Bolo mere sang, Central Board of Indirect Tax and Customs. So what is the full form of CBDT? Central Board of Direct Taxes. What is the full form of CBIC? Central Board of Indirect Tax and Customs. Like this. Now administration to yaad ho gaya. First central government, under that Ministry of Finance, and under that Department of Revenue, under that two bodies are there, CBDT, CBIC. Now come to the next part, that is sources of income tax law. Dekho, when we actually try to make the law, you cannot make it in one form because there are certain limitations. So that's why there are many ingredients. Like if you are making tea, can you make tea with only one item? There should be water, there should be tea powder, there should be some milk, to heat the heater should be there, like gas should be there, sugar also is required, ilaichi some people put adrak, yani some combination, some process is there, right? Same way here also some combination is created, and all that combination comes together and we say it as sources of income tax law. What are that sources? First one is Income Tax Act 1961. What is the first one? Income Tax Act 1961. अरे याद रखो यार, बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. Income Tax Act 1961. Happy birthday कब है? When is the happy birthday? 1st April 1962. In simple language, Income Tax Act commences from, is applicable from, came into force on 1st April 1962. So how books write the different languages, right? Came into force, commences from, like these words are used. Okay. Now 1st April 1962. It is applicable to whole of India. That means it is Jammu and Kashmir or Ladakh or Arunachal Pradesh or Assam or Hyderabad or Telangana, Maharashtra, Bhopal, kuch bhi ho yaar. To whole of India, the Income Tax Act 1961 applies. Now what is there in Income Tax Act? It all talks about determination of taxable income. So in our books it is written income, but let's remember taxable income, or even determination of income. What is income? What part of it is taxable and what part of it is not taxable? So shall I use the word exempt income for not taxable? So if income is not taxable, it is exempt income. If it is taxable, then taxable income. So determination of income, taxable income or exempt income, that is what is done as per Income Tax Act. Right? Now, Determination of tax liability. Now if sub income is taxable, now on that tax should be computed, right? Some rates of tax will be given, some percentage amount may be given to compute your tax on income. So that determination of tax liability is done under Income Tax Act 1961. Then after that, assessment, appeals, penalties, prosecutions. भारी भारी वर्ड्स लग रहे ना, मेरे को भी लगते थे. Now I'll help you to understand what is assessment. When you write exam, teacher will correct the papers, yes or no? So what teacher is doing? Teacher is assessing your performance. So assessment is nothing but, or in simple language, assessment means when you show your income to the income tax department, when you show that this is your tax liability and pay. Did you pay the correct amount of tax? Did you show correct amount of income? All that is assessed, and that is assessment. Now assessment may be self-assessment. First you have to do cross-check yourself, and then income tax department will also do. That is assessment. If suppose income tax department shows that your income is less, actually you have shown more less income, but actually it is more income. If they say and they want to tax you more, then you can go to the court. You can appeal that this is injustice, my lord. Like that you can go to the court and appeal. Right? So, देखो, there everybody fair opportunities should be given. If somebody has power, there is always a chance that they can misuse. So some power should be given to others also. Like income tax department misuses their power, generally they don't. Then you also have the power to appeal against the income tax department. Or suppose you did something, they can appeal in the court against you also. So appeal is appealing to the court. Then penalties, if you don't file the income details in time, if you don't pay the taxes on time, so government will say please pay penalty. Like Chanakya said, सामदंड भेद, right? तो दंड तो नहीं मिलता, but penal दंड तो मिल जाता. That penalty in monetary terms. Hey, even imprisonment is there in some sections, right? I'll discuss when the assessment procedures, all that come, I'll discuss. But you remember, penalties are there, even sometimes jail are there. Prosecution, right? They can question you, they can put you in jail for doing fraud with the income tax department, not showing correct. So, Income Tax Act will do what? Determination of income, determination of tax, assessment, appeals, penalties, prosecution. Okay, next. Now to implement all these things, there should be some body. I already said that Central Board of Direct Taxes is the body which will implement all this. But if they have to implement, the income tax authorities have to implement, they should have some power, right? And that power, the rights, and when they get the power, they should not misuse it, right? So they are given proper duties also, right? So powers and duties of income tax authorities, or we can say CBDT, are also covered here. So Income Tax Act 1961, what it talks about? Hey, happy birthday, that is commencement date 1st April 1962, applicable to whole of India. It talks about determination of income, determination of tax. It talks about assessment, appeals, penalties, prosecution. It talks about authorities, income tax authorities, their powers and duties. Shall we go to the next part? In the sources of income tax law, first one is Income Tax Act 1961, second one is annual amendments. Now what are annual amendments? Dekho, the way in which you are earning income, is it same? In the past, people were to just make certain goods, sell it and earn money, either manufacturing or trading. But now services has flourished, yes or no? People are earning income by riding Uber bicycle also. People are earning income by Swiggy also. Like many people have developed their apps and through that they are earning some commission income. So the way in which we are earning income has changed. So the tax also has to amend itself, right? Accordingly, the law also has to change itself, right? So every year, and one more part I'll tell before I go to that. Many people try to find the loopholes in the law to escape from taxes. Now, those who try to find the loopholes, they also should be punished, or the loopholes should also be filled. So, no loopholes should be there. For that also, time to time changes are required, and that are annual amendments. Every year the Finance Act is brought, Finance Bill is presented in the Parliament, and that is approved by Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha, and finally it is signed by the President and it becomes an act. I'll tell you some special stories for you to understand that when is the Finance Bill presented and who presents it. चलो यार, image दिखा के question पूछता. I'll show you one image and ask question. See, who is she? नाम तो मालूम होगा. What she is holding? You see the photo and tell. She is our present finance minister, Nirmala Sitharaman ji. Whenever you are talking about some person who is at a position or has done something in life which is much more than you, always try to add the words like G to respect them. And you can, if they are saintly personalities, then you can add Sri before their name, prefix. So Nirmala Sitharaman ji is actually the finance minister. See, in her hand there is a red color some file which is there. In that the government's budget is there. On 1st of February, which date? 1st of February, the government introduced the budget. Finance minister, our Nirmala Sitharaman ji, presents the budget. Okay, in that budget only there are two parts. First part talks about the government income, government expenditure, actual budget we can say. And second part talks about the tax amendments. Okay, that's why I have shown this photo to you. And in the past, leather bag was brought to as budget, the English practice. But now our Indian pious practice is brought back, and that's really great. Now come to the notes, theory notes, so that we can complete this part. Okay, what they said, that every year I said that 1st February the budget comes. I said that first what happens, that Ministry of Laws and Justice is there along with the Finance Ministry, drafts the content, what changes have to be brought. And when they drafted it, we call it as draft. When they present it in the Parliament before Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, we call it as bill. Right? When they present it in Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha, we call it as bill. And finally, when Lok Sabha approves, Rajya Sabha approves, when President puts a sign, it becomes an act. Then it is put in the e-Gazette website. E-Gazette is the government's version. Whatever government has to say, it will put on that website. Okay? Now, if suppose some year they did not bring the income tax amendments, then what will happen? So, income tax amendments are brought through the Finance Bill, Finance Act, as we discussed. If it is not brought, then what to do? either the last year's Finance Act will apply, or if they have designed the budget, the Finance Act, but it is not approved, so what will happen? Then the old Finance Act or the prepared Finance Act but not approved, whichever is beneficial, dono bhi, right? Both should be considered. Whatever is beneficial to the taxpayer, that will be applicable. Now happens sometimes, right? Like there are some war type of situation, there is lot of natural calamities, there is lot of political disturbances. Sometimes this happens that the budget Finance Act may not be brought. In that situation also, what should be the solution? Either the old law or the prepared law which is not approved, whichever is beneficial to the people, that will be applicable. Clear? Any doubt? I don't feel you will have doubt. With this clarity we are working, and I know with this you will be short successful in your exam preparation. Only thing, don't lose the focus. Right? Now, so with this we understood that what is annual amendments. Right. Now income tax rules 1962 we have to discuss. Third one. Okay. Now what that income tax rules talk about? Income tax rules talks about something like, I'll tell you, very simple story I'll tell you. Dekho, in government, the parliamentarians, many people are learned, but many are not. But still, they can tell what should be done. Right? They can tell in the parliament what should be done. But can they focus on the minutest of the processes to do the same thing? Because our country is huge and there are many things to do, and not everybody is good at minutest of the things. So that's why what they did, that Income Tax Act will tell you what should be done, like determination of income, determination of tax, assessment, appeals, penalties, prosecutions. Income Tax Act will tell. But how it should be implemented? What should be the process for doing the same? If income has to be determined, computed, how to compute? If tax has to be computed, how to compute? Assessment, what should be the process of doing that? All that is designed by professionals who are sitting in government office, and that is CBDT. So CBDT, Central Board of Direct Taxes, as per section 295, has the power to actually make the rules, that is income tax rules 1962. And that rules they will notify in the official gazette, and after notifying the rules in the official gazette, that rules will be applicable. I'll tell you. In the Finance Act 2022, which is applicable for your exams, remember, Finance Act 2022 is applicable for your exams. What they did, they said that whatever income you are earning through cryptocurrency, we will tax it. Government brought the proper sections. So in the Finance Act, they brought the sections and said it is taxable. At what rate it is taxable also they said. But the point is how it should be done, what should be the process. Later on, CBDT brought the rules for it. Step by step process. When we go to income from other sources, I'll tell you wonderful actually writing, wonderful explanation. Many situations may arise and how to tackle each situation. Everything is given. Only thing, just wait till that chapter comes. You will really be excited to listen. Okay, chalo, let's continue. Income tax rules. As per section 295, CBDT can introduce rules. They will be notified by in the official gazette and implemented. Right? This is how you should remember. First time the rules in India were brought in the year 1962. That's why income tax rules 1962. Okay. Now, why CBDT makes the rules? Because they have given their life to direct taxes. From morning they get up till they sleep, they only work in taxation, that to income tax, income tax, income tax. So they know the nuances of what will happen when a particular step is taken or process is designed. And that's why they make the rules. Professionals, knowledgeable people. And I'll tell you, after clearing your CMA exams, if you write income tax authorities, income tax department's exam, you can also become a member of CBDT. Yes, you can. Now let's go to the fourth part. Circulars and notifications or clarifications. Basically, देखो, when you as a taxpayer go to the department, you can behave whatever way you can. Of course, you also have certain regulations, rules to follow, but still, you have some freedom. If some other person go, he can talk in some other way. Third person goes, he can talk in some other way. But can the income tax authorities work in different ways? They have to do everything in the same process, right? Same way, right? And for that, if there is any doubt, government will bring some clarifications. Central Board of Direct Taxes will introduce or bring circulars. When they bring the circulars, they will clarify everything. How the income tax authorities should tackle particular situation. What we actually mean by this, they will tell through the circulars. But the best part of circulars is that they are binding on all the income tax authorities, whether it is joint commissioner, deputy commissioner, assistant commissioner, chief commissioner, everybody. These circulars are binding. They have to follow so that they can act uniformly. But you as a taxpayer, if the circular is beneficial to you, you say, I will follow the circular. I also agree with the circular. If you feel that the circular is unfair, unjust, not right, you are negatively affected, are yaar, don't worry. You as a taxpayer can challenge it in the court. You can say, I don't accept this circular, and you can challenge it in the court. So circulars and clarifications are binding on the income tax authorities, right? They are not binding on the taxpayer, not binding on the income tax appellate tribunal. Now you may say, what is income tax appellate tribunal? I'll tell you. Income tax appellate tribunal is fast track court for income tax matters, right? If suppose the case goes to Supreme Court, High Court, already 4 crore cases are pending, how much time it will take, right? So that's why fast track court, income tax appellate tribunal, only for dealing income tax cases. Okay, so the circulars and notifications are binding on the income tax authorities, but not binding on the taxpayers, not binding on courts, that is Supreme Court, High Court and Income Tax Appellate Tribunal. This is how we understood. Actually about circulars they talk under section 119. Chalo, I'll ask you certain sections which we learned till now. Right? Numbers wala question puchte, ठीक है? Tell me how many articles are there in the Constitution? 448. Schedules in Constitution? 12. Parts? 22. Income tax rules CBDT can make. Which section gave this power? 295. Annual amendments, like if there is no Finance Act brought, but old Finance Act or new draft, whichever is beneficial to the taxpayer is applicable. Which section it said? 294. Circulars, can be brought by the CBDT. Which section? 119. Like this you try to remember. Now come to the judicial decisions. Dekho, what is the top court in our country? Apex court in our country. Supreme Court is the apex court. Top court in our country. Okay, clear to all of you. Now, whatever Supreme Court says is the law of the land. That means it will become the law which everybody has to follow. If you ask me, Supreme Court is powerful or Parliament is powerful? Because there is a lot of dispute going on between Chandrachud, the Chief Justice of India, and the government of India. Lot of disputes. Because Chandrachud, I'll tell you one practical thing what's happening. Government says lot of cases are pending. Please don't take so much leaves. Please work and try to settle more cases. Chandrachud says, okay, we are taking more holidays. So this is what the present situation is. And there is continuous fight going on because the Chief Justice is not listening to central government. On fair matters, administrative matters, everything he wants opposite. Now, Supreme Court is supreme or the Parliament is supreme? The answer is Parliament. Because Parliament is the body which makes the laws. Government is the body which implements the laws. Parliament means Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha. Modi also will come, Rahul Gandhi also will come. Right? And implementation government will do. Bota bhai will implement. Amit Shah ji. Mostly. Right? Next thing. If there is any dispute about the law, that what is the real meaning of law, then or is Parliament authorized to make the law? Is it right law or wrong law? That dispute may go to the courts. And if it goes to the Supreme Court will give judgments. Try to tell what is the true meaning of the law. So, Supreme Court should act within the guidelines or laws made by the Parliament. So that's why Supreme Court is secondary, Parliament is primary. Even though Supreme Court is secondary, no political intervention should be done. That's why they said Supreme Court is independent. Such a wonderful constitution, right? Now, let's come to our textbooks. What they say? They say whatever Supreme Court says, it is the law of the land. Everybody has to follow. Now, if Parliament want to change it, Parliament can change. So now in a sequence I'll tell you to understand. Whatever Parliament makes the law, that is applicable to whole of India. If there is any dispute relating to the meaning, Supreme Court will tell the true meaning, and that will be applicable, that will be understood to be the true meaning for the whole country. If suppose Parliament again makes the law by passing in the Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha, and says that we accept the Supreme Court version or don't accept the version, but this is what the true meaning as per our intention, then that will prevail. So Supreme Court's version will become the law of land only till the Parliament not intervening into it. If Parliament makes the law, Supreme Court also has to follow it. But you may ask me a question. Suppose, sir, similar type of cases, but Supreme Court gave judgment in one way for one case and in another way for another case. But content of both the cases are same. Sir, ऐसा कैसा हो सकता? अरे, it happens, यार. That's why I am telling. Separate judges are sitting. So one judge gave judgment in one way, another judge gave the judgment in another way, and the two cases have similar content. Now tell me, what will prevail? कौन सा सच है? What is valid? So the judgment of higher bench is valid. नाउ हायर बेंच बोले तो बेंच ऊपर रखते क्या? अरे नहीं रे बाबा, bench will not be kept on the top. Actually bench means how many judges are sitting. It will be always in odd number. 1 bench judge, 3 bench judgment, 5 bench judgment, like that it happens. Okay, like in Ram Mandir case, 5 bench judges were there, and all the 5 judges said that it is land belonging to Ram Lalla Virajman and Ram Mandir should be constructed on that. So this way judgments come. So what basically I wanted to tell you, that if there is any conflict, that the judgment of Supreme Court itself are different. In one case one way, another case another way. The higher bench judgment will prevail. Suppose one case was decided by 3 bench judgment and another case similar to it is decided by 5 bench judgment. Then 5 bench judges judgment will prevail and will become the law of the land. But suppose, अरे खुराफाती दिमाग है आप लोगों का, you get so many doubts. Suppose both the judgments are given by 5 judges, that means this judgment also by 5 judges, that judgment also 5 judges, and on the same matter. Now what to do? अरे questions तो आना, I love questions. So what to do in that case? I'll tell you. In that case, the latest judgment will prevail. Right? If both the judgments are 5 bench judgments, then the latest will prevail. Okay, that will become the law of the land. Okay, Supreme Court over. Now what about High Court? High Court and ITAT, Income Tax Appellate Tribunal, if they give the judgment, that is also valid, but only to that area. Like example, Telangana High Court gave any judgment. That judgment is applicable to Telangana area. In Madhya Pradesh, they can give another judgment. They need not follow Telangana High Court judgment. But Telangana High Court judgment can be used as a reference. Okay, very good. Now, whatever High Court or ITAT gave judgments, that are applicable only to that respective states or areas. That we have to remember. Last part, which is not there in the book, but still out of curiosity I am telling you, which you should know. There is one more word called as ordinance. Ordinance means a temporary law brought by the central government, which is valid for 6 months. Right? Generally what happens during COVID, Parliament cannot sit. So if Parliament cannot sit, then how can the laws be passed? How can we give benefit to the people? Right? How can we actually develop the industries, bring back the industries on track? So government said, we'll bring an ordinance. It is signed by the president and discussed by the cabinet ministers, top ministers in the parliament, and president will sign it. It's just valid for 6 months. Within 6 months, the parliament should sit and approve it so that it will become a normal act. Okay, this way we should understand about the ordinance, and many things we try to understand in this lecture. So what we'll do, don't actually postpone any preparation. Every day listen to at least 2 lectures and try to understand each and everything. I am there with you, always available for you. Same day I will clear all your doubts. So voice message any doubt on WhatsApp. I would be really happy to clear all your doubts. We'll meet in the next video. Till then, take care.